Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Hungry Coder channel, and today we are looking at Python, and in particular we are looking at Python lists. So yeah, I will assume that you already have Python installed and you already have a way of writing your code, whether it be Visual Studio Code, Atom, PyCharm, etc. So yeah, assuming that you've got those installed, we can crack on. So we are going to dig a little bit deeper into each section of lists. Hopefully by the end of the video that you guys should have a good understanding of lists and how to work with them and how to kind of interpret them yourselves. So it's probably the most basic data structure in Python. So each element is assigned a number. So I've got a picture here actually. Let's do that. So I got this online. I'll share a link in the description so you can go straight to it if you want to use it. But this would be a good example of a list and showing, you know, the kind of indices. So starting at 0 and then we finish at 4. So the only thing is here is we would have square brackets with a list. You know, lists are easy. We all use lists in our lives, whether it's a shopping list, which would be, you know, in programming terms, potentially a shopping list of strings, or you may have quantities as well, so it could be a list of integers and strings, and you can mix your data types in Python lists as well, which is great. So other things you can do is things like indexing, slicing, adding, multiplying, and checking for values as well. There is loads of built-in methods we can use. Some of them we'll look at today. So let's start by writing out some lists that we can work with ourselves. So let's create a new file in my folder, lists.py. Okay, so let's create 3 lists. So we've got list 1, and let's put in here, so we'll mix this one up at the top. Let's put some games console names on there. And then we could maybe mix it, say, with maybe some release years. Probably, I don't even know what the release years are, but you get the idea. And let's create another 2 lists. So this list would be integers. So shall we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's do another list, and this one can just be strings. So we could just do square brackets. A, B, C, D. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so we've got 3 lists. Let's add a little comment on those so that we can refer back. 3 lists. If you've seen string indices yet, then you'll understand, like I showed on the picture, that we have index numbers, and these are indices. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we have a look here, number 1 on the list of integers would be 0. Xbox 1 is the first value within this list, so that would be 0, and the first value of this list would be A. So A equals index of 0, just so we get the idea. Okay, and yeah, so you can slice lists, and you can concatenate lists like this as well, and so forth. But the first thing we may want to look at is how do we access the values in these lists so that we can use them within our program. So let's have a look at accessing values in a list. Okay, so let's get this so we can kind of get a good idea. I'm just going to copy and paste these up here. If you're following along, do write this down as well, because it kind of gives you, when you write things down, it really kind of gives you the idea and it sticks in your head a lot better. Equals index 0. Okay, great. So we've got our index zeros. So we want to access those values. Now if we know the index, then it's pretty straightforward. So let's have a look. So let's do a print statement so we can see what we're doing on the console. So let's print Xbox 1, and the way we're going to do that is not by typing Xbox 1. We are going to use the index. So list 1, we want to print list 1. So if we printed that as it stands, let's have a look. Let's run the code in our terminal with the print statement. So Python list, is that a capital? No. Yes. So we get the full list as the output. Xbox One, PlayStation, 2010 and 2011. Now if we want to access just Xbox One, which is index 0, we put square brackets and we put 0 to access the index. So let's rerun that. Now we only get Xbox One, which is great. So we can do that for print list 2. And we want to access the first item on there, which is number 1. So we can do print list 2, 0. And list 3, our list of strings, we want to access A. So how do we do that? We do print list 3, square brackets, 0. Control save. And before I print, let's quickly look at this image again. So again, look, index 0 is the first one. And we'll quickly look at that in a moment, which is a negative index. Okay, but let's run the program. So we get Xbox One, which correlates to this print statement. We get 1, which correlates here. And we get A, which correlates here. So accessing the values is pretty straightforward. We can access more than one value at a time if you want to. And the way we'd do that is, let's say we want to access, let me just make that a bit smaller. Let's say we want to access both of these consoles here. So what we're going to do is we are going to do print, and then we do list 1, square brackets, so pretty much the same thing. And this time what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to we want to access Xbox One and PlayStation. So you could do 2 separate print statements, but what if we want them both at the same time? So we could do 0, colon, and where do we want it to stop? So that would be 0, 1, 2. So we want it to stop at 2 because it's not inclusive. So let's save that, and no worries, and let's run that. Now we print both of them because we printed 0. Yeah, we printed 1, and then it got to the index 2, and it said, oh, we should stop here. Because it's not inclusive, it isn't going to print 2. Okay, great. So we know how to access individual items. We could access more than one item if we wanted to. Let's do that again, actually. Let's say on our list of integers, we want to print 2. So that would be index 1 to index 6. So we could do print list. Let's do this again. So we do a print statement. So we want to print list 2, square brackets. We will start at 1, and then we will finish at, say, 6. Control save, Control S, sorry, and let's run that. And we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these numbers are the ones we got back. Here. So that's how we access values within a list. If it's not sticking, just keep doing it, keep doing it. Think about an item you want in one of those lists and just access it and keep doing it until it's in your head. But it's pretty straightforward once you've got it. So the next, let's have a look at updating values in a list. If we wanted to change, not print, sorry. We want to change PlayStation to Nintendo. So what we could do is we could do list 1 equals list 1 and PlayStation. If you can guess what index that is, that. So if we have a look at this image here, starting at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it can go on, of course. So what index would this be, if you know? So it's 0, 1. So list 1, we want to access PlayStation because we want to alter PlayStation. We want to change it to Nintendo. So that would now equals, and it's a string, Nintendo. We don't need a capital here. Nintendo. And then let's print our list and see if the change came into effect. So print list 1, Control save. Okay, so here's an output here. We have Xbox One, Nintendo, 2010 and 2011. So if we print list 1 up here, because remember the order of execution as well. So it's print. So we got 2 print statements in here. We got print list 1 straight after we've declared the list. So it gives us PlayStation because of the order of execution. Remember, Python starts from the top and goes down. Now, when it got to down here, it saw that we said list 1, the index of 1. It was like, okay, you're talking about this here, PlayStation. And we said that now equals Nintendo. And then we printed the list again, and we can see that that came into place. So we can update values just like that. We can do that for any list really. So list 2, let's access number 5. So that would be index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So list 2, index 4 is what we're going to access. We're going to mess up the list and just put a number of 50 in there. Oh, not in the square brackets. Equals 50, sorry. And list 3, we are going to access A, so that would be index 0, and we'll just change it to Z. And we'd make sure that's in quotes as well, because it's a string value. Control save. It would help if we printed them actually. So print list 2 and print list 3. And we should see some updated values. Great. So we've got out of place 50 there in the middle, which we added after we declared the list, and we've got Z here. So yeah, I mean, what I would suggest now for you, if that hasn't stuck as well as it can, go to your list 2 and, you know, change 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe change each one to be 100, 200, 300. Be a bit repetitive, make sure it sticks in. But yeah, I hope that helps in terms of how to update values in the list. So let's move on. Let's have a look at deleting elements. Deleting elements in a list. Z is out of place from our new list on list 3. Yeah, so because we've got Z in there now, let's get rid of Z. Let's do that. So what we can do is we can do delete, as in del. We can do list 3 is the one that we want to work with. Square brackets, because we're going to access an element, and that element is at index 0, Z. Okay, and then what we're going to do is let's print list 3. Let's see what we get. So you can see that Z has gone. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so what if we wanted to delete on list 1 both the game, let's say we wanted to delete both the games consoles. How would you think we could do that? Because we've kind of covered it, we kind of haven't, but if you can kind of have a guess, I'd say pause the video and give it a go now. But how I would do it based on what we've looked at on the video today is delete list 1 square brackets. We want to delete the first element, which is Xbox One, and we want to delete the second element, which is PlayStation, and then we want it to stop at the index 2. So we put 2, control save, print list 1, control save. Let's run it. Now, list 1, we have deleted 2 elements at the beginning. So you can see that we used the slicing here to delete more than 1 element at a time, and then we get our new list. So yeah, I hope that gives you a good understanding of lists and a few kind of techniques in terms of how to work with them. If there's anything I've missed, or there's any questions that you have about lists, or you want to dig deeper into a certain subject, yeah, give me a comment and let me know. Interact with me. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. And I'm looking forward to building some projects with you guys in the future as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.